Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 78. All right, before we get into the drop, just a quick update on what's going on with my trip to Santa Fe. Everything is completely locked in now, folks. It's all cracking off right in the middle of the month. Flying into Santa Fe. I'm not going to drive. I'm going to fly into Santa Fe. I'm going to rent a car while I'm there, and off we go. I already have something set up at the Santa Fe Institute. I'm going to head out to Zorro Ranch. I highly doubt I'll get any access to it, but I have a couple of decent surprises for you guys in that regard. Maybe we'll get some footage, some decent footage. I happen to have some decent cameras and stuff like that, so I'm going to be able to get some access of some decent shots at the very least and document the whole entire trip so that we have another blueprint basically for what's going on in New Mexico, because I just really don't trust the information we're getting out of there. There's just a lot that needs to be reported, and it just doesn't seem like there's too much interest about this property. And from what we've gathered, right, all of the evidence that we've gathered, the stories we've read, the things we've discovered, there was bad stuff going on in New Mexico, folks. There was bad stuff. And it really seems like Bill Richardson was neck deep in all of it. Now, as far as him, assaulting girls, Virginia Roberts says he did. And if we're going on the premise that we believe Virginia Roberts, we are, then we have to believe her about this man as well, right? We have to believe her. So, there's going to be a lot of looking into Mr. Richardson as well as this goes on. But first, the first part is we'll get to New Mexico. I'll get on the ground there, and I'll talk to some of the sources that I have lined up. Hopefully, we'll have some really quality stuff when I get back. I'm really banking on having a nice article for you guys to enjoy. And what I'll do is I'm going to write the article as well, and then after I write it, well, I'll read it on air like I usually do other people's articles. How about that? And then you guys can critique my article. All right, so let's jump into these articles that we have on tonight's docket for the Daily Drop and see where we're at, right? But first, if you would like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. All right, so like I was saying, both articles are from the Sun today. The first article, the headline is Low-Hanging Fruit. Jeffrey Epstein thought Prince Andrew was a hapless sap who was easy to recruit as a bait, royal cousin claims. And now, look, I don't really know how much stock I put in this lady. Her name is Christina Oxenberg, and she's a second cousin, once removed, I guess, of Prince Andrew's. And supposedly she has a lot of dirt, a lot of tea, blah, 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 blah. But she comes off to me as somebody who's just like looking to get her name out there a little bit more, be a little bit, might have fallen off fame-wise. Like I said, I don't know much about royals. I don't know much about these monarchs. I don't know much about these people, if she was ever famous, whatever. But the only reason I'm even bothering with this article tonight is because it's a pretty slow news day about Epstein, and I don't want to dig into the time machine too far back. So we're going to just read these two articles tonight. The second article from Virginia Roberts should be pretty interesting, but I would say take the stuff that this lady says, this Christina Oxenberg, I would say take this article with a grain of salt, folks. That's my opinion, obviously. If there could be people out there, I have shockingly enough, like 11% of my audience is from England. That blew me away. Like 11% is from England. Oh, like 14.9% is from Australia. And then like 7 or 8% is from Ireland. So I'm sure that you folks obviously know a lot more about royals than I do. Was this lady famous? Email, let me know. But I'm going off of the premise that she's like I don't know, like kind of like the Lancel Lannister type of relative, right? All right, let's see what the article says. Prince Andrew's cousin claims Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were grifters who viewed the royal as a hapless sap. Christina Oxenberg, 56, who is the Duke's second cousin, once removed, has written about her experiences with the pedophile in a new tell-all memoir. Oxenberg, the daughter of Princess Elizabeth of Yugoslavia, says she met Epstein's alleged fixer Maxwell in the 90s and attended dinner parties at the financier, pedophile, home in New York. In an excerpt from her book, posted on Patreon, wow, there you go, she claims the pair viewed her cousin Andrew as low-hanging fruit. According to Town and Country, she wrote, they were grifters. He was low-hanging fruit. He really was a hapless sap. But he's my cousin, so I love him, and I understand that being a dummy doesn't make you a bad guy. No, but having sex with a trafficked girl does. Never mind that she was underage. That kind of makes you a bad guy. All right? We agree on the fact that he's an absolute dummy, and I don't even think that word covers what Andrew is. He is absolutely, positively pathetic. An absolute pathetic human being. So, okay, I could agree with her with that, but being a dummy doesn't make you a bad guy? A lot more there, princess. Prince Andrew has been sacked from royal duties following a car crash BBC interview in which he said he did not regret his decade-long friendship with pedo Epstein. Andrew denies all allegations of sexual misconduct made against him. Oxenberg, who is estranged from her mother, is related to Andrew through her grandmother, who is first cousins with Prince Philip's mother. Low-hanging fruit. She claims Maxwell, whose father was shamed media mogul Robert, gained pleasure through controlling people. Yeah, no doubt about it. That's usually what intelligence assets do. They get off on the power. See, everyone's pussyfooting around this. None of these people want to go on record. None of these people want to truly bring the smoke. Look, I'm bringing the smoke. This is an intelligence operation being run by insert your favorite intelligence scumbags here. The writer said, if I saw her, she would say, you're my poorest friend, and she'd laugh. It gave her pleasure, made her feel in control, perhaps. Oxenberg, an accomplished author who has written several books, claims Maxwell, who strongly denies all allegations made against her. Does she? Does she really? Who has talked to her lately? Maybe she has come to the light. Maybe she's seen the light, and she doesn't deny the allegations anymore. How do we know? Have you talked to her? I haven't talked to her. These people haven't talked to her, so how do we know what she denies and what she does not? Oxenberg, an accomplished author who has written several books, claims Maxwell, who strongly denies all allegations made against her, once asked to ghostwrite a novel for her. Her mother and New York fashion tycoon Father Howard, who died in 2010, divorced after a difficult 6-year marriage. In her memoir, she claims her mother had an affair with U.S. President John F. Kennedy and that her dad traveled to Washington with a gun when he found out. She said Kennedy died believing that I was his child, the poor thing. Oh, come on. This lady. Like I said, if it wasn't a slow night, folks, I would not have even added this to the podcast, but here we are. Royal blood. After her parents' divorce, Christina and her sister Catherine, who is a Hollywood actress best known for her role in TV soap Dynasty, moved to England with their mother. And it was in the UK that she got to know the Windsors. She writes, I met the Queen at Buckingham Palace for tea. Her husband, Prince Philip, is Greek, and my grandmother, Princess Olga of Greece and Denmark, is Greek. So they are very closely related. Oh, I bet they are. We should probably take a look at those Habsburg jaws. How closely are they related, Ms. Oxenberg? Why don't you tell us just how close they're related? Are we talking like close? But how I was brought up, everybody I was ever introduced to had a title. It was completely par for the course. In fact, movie stars were spoken of so disparagingly, it was like they were showgirls. Oxenberg says that her new book is filled with stories told in her confidence, but now that she's in her 50s, the gloves have to come off. Her sister, Catherine, whose daughter was recruited in New York into the New York sex cult NXIVM. There's NXIVM again. Okay, that settles it, folks. I'm going to have to do a parallel segment, an episode about NXIVM, because there are way too many connections. And see, even this throwaway article brings us something, a little glimmer, a little nugget, a little breadcrumb. Her sister had a daughter who was in NXIVM? How about Kirsten Gillibrand? What does she know about Nexium? Okay, I'll save that for the other episode. She told Town and Country, Tina's comments sadden me. I won't say anything disparaging about my sister. I do not consider my sister a reliable or truthful source. Yeah, you're not the only one. I don't think I'm considering her reliable or truthful at this point either, so whatever. But what I will say is this. The little nuggets that we get out of these, maybe even sometimes throwaway articles, are pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. It's pretty good information. All right, the second article from The Sun as well. Royal Rumble. Prince Andrew accuser Virginia Roberts says Diana was kicked out of the royal family for less as she slams lack of apology. Good for you, Virginia Roberts. Good for you standing up for yourself and saying, speaking your truth. Because it's true. The way they abused Princess Diana, look, like I said, everybody knows I'm not some kind of royal historian. I'm not a monarchist. I really don't give a shit about any of them, including Diana. But they did her dirty. They did her wrong as hell. And to think that Prince Andrew isn't getting worse, who cares if he's blood? If you're touching kids and you're abusing trafficked women, no matter their age. Now let's remember, if the woman is trafficked, how can she consent? So if she can't consent, that makes you, my friend, a rapist. The America former, again, I'm not going to use that terminology. We did the article last Tuesday, I believe, and all the girls came out and said they don't want to use that terminology, so I'm not using those words. The American former abused girl, 35, alleges she was forced to romp with the Duke of York, 59, while she was a 17-year-old trafficked victim of pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, a claim Andrew strongly denies. And then it shows the picture of Andrew with his arm around Virginia Roberts. She's in like those shiny pants. They're multiple colored pants. You all know the picture I'm talking about at this point. Ghislaine Maxwell's in the background with the Cheshire Cat's grin. The royal was sacked last month by the Queen after a car crash Newsnight interview in which he said he did not regret his friendship with convicted sex offender Epstein. Andrew was also slammed for saying he did not remember meeting Virginia or dancing with her at a London nightclub, despite the pair being photographed together. Today, Miss Roberts thanked crime YouTuber Sean Atwood for his post blasting the royal for not saying sorry to her. He wrote, "Still no apology from the Duke of York to VRS Virginia. Still no apology." Atwood added that Princess Diana was stripped for her stripped of her HRH for much less. Like I said, I don't know much about royals, and I don't know, the terminology. So hashtag HRH for much less. This is a reference to Diana losing her official title following her 1996 divorce from Prince Charles. Virginia replied directly to Atwood, writing, "Sean Atwood, thank you for your tireless dedication and your very informative docos. Great work, mate. Hope you keep it up." Atwood, who is a convicted drug dealer, has made numerous YouTube videos discussing the Epstein case. Sean Atwood does good work too, folks. Definitely check those out. If you're into the video format, definitely check those out. They're on YouTube. The Brit is an author and public speaker who discusses his experiences in jail. Epstein, 66, was jailed in 2008 for having sex with a minor, but was controversially released 13 months later after striking a sweetheart deal with prosecutors in Florida. Prince Andrew was subsequently pictured walking through Central Park in New York with a multi-millionaire hedge fund manager in 2010. Hedge fund manager? You mean pedophile? After his jail sentence. The financier, pedophile, was arrested again in July this year and hit with sex trafficking charges after more than 40 women claimed they were abused by him at his various homes. Epstein, despite being one of America's most high-profile felons, committed suicide, allegedly, in August in his jail cell at a maximum security prison in Manhattan. Prince Andrew denies all allegations of sexual misconduct made against him. All right, well, there you have it, folks. That is our 78th installment of the Daily Drop. 78 straight days putting these slime balls on notice. 78 straight days of going hard in the paint. And I guess at this point, I've avoided Twitter like the plague for my whole life. I don't even have a personal Twitter account. But I guess at this point I'm going to have to make a Twitter handle for the show. I've had several people ask me about it, and we're growing at such a rate where I guess I have to have the footprint there as well. So I will have a Twitter handle set up. I'll have that for you guys tomorrow morning during the morning update. I'll give you that information so you can all subscribe to that. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that I make that a companion of this show. So everything I talk about on this show, not only will it be in the description, we'll do it on Twitter as well, and we'll keep it all nice and regimented and all buttoned up. So I hope everybody's having a fantastic Saturday night. I hope that everybody is, if you're traveling, like I said earlier, please be safe. Don't be a moron. There's enough of those people on the road as it is. Take your time. Wherever you're going, take your time. All right, everybody. I will be back tomorrow morning for the morning update. We're going to do another evolution episode. And of course, the daily drop is coming as well. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic evening.